Hello, and welcome back to FRLT. It is time for round one. As you can see down in the title below, it is time for Tier 2. It is a Wednesday. It returns once again this season. We do have currently 18 drivers in the lobby here tonight. Currently, we're going to be getting our 19th during qualifying. So almost an entire full grid for tonight, which is incredibly interesting. And this week, we're coming to the special track of the Hungary. As you can see, it is 4.381 kilometers, 2.738 miles, 14 turns, only 2 DRS zones down the pit straight and down the second straight after turn 1. Very short, though, the run between turn 1 and turn 2. So DRS isn't hugely effective, even on this year's game, going around there. Here is the Tier 2 calendar, just to give you your first look in on it. Hungary this week, then we're going to Asia, and then Australia with Japan and Australia coming up. Then we'll be returning to, once again, Europe for Imola. Then we go to America for Las Vegas before returning for Spain. Then going Bahrain, then back to Asia for China. And then the two final races of the season, which will be taking place in Europe at Austria, and then Silverstone for the finale in the season. I couldn't think of a better finale. There's no standings, of course, because, of course, we haven't had a race yet. Ultimately, I am here alone here tonight, which is a little bit of a sad thing to, of course, see and hear, is that I am alone for tonight's race. So, we're currently watching as I'm currently seeing the drivers coming out on track. So I guess it's time to go to the track finally. And as you can see, here are the drivers out on their first few runs. For the moment, let's get up all of the data we can that is permitted to bring up. I believe it is an RB which is on a lap. Yes, it is. It is Samtex who's in the RB. My apologies. I have to just quickly look away for a slight second as I'm trying to get messages up and everything. Yes. So everybody is now in. Just a reminder of the teams. I haven't actually gotten it noted down. On here, I don't have it noted down. Ever so sadly, I don't have it noted down. Which is a little bit of a sad thing. But the first driver we're going to be watching on his lap is going to be Samtex. He's making his way round. And he is sliding his way out of the final corner. And now here he comes down the pit straight to start off his run here in qualifying. It is all up to him here tonight. Now into turn 1 he goes, throwing the car through. He's got to try and thread the car through, really, as it's so far pretty smooth. On the soft tyres, though, in some light rain, which is a rather odd strategy to go for, of course. We don't tend to see this strategy being used. Now heading down the hill as we're about to cross the end of Sector 1. Only 3 corners in the whole of Sector 1, so very short. Now into turn 4 they go very quickly. Samtex making his way around. Sector 2 has the most corners, ultimately, out of any sector on the track, with only Sector 3 only having a very small 3 corners as well, same as Sector 1, even though Sector 1 is quite a lot longer than Sector 3. Now heading round through the fast left and right, of course slowing down quite a bit because it is raining and you can see the car sliding all over the place for the moment. Nobody's getting away nicely with tonight's rain. Into the final 2 corners, the penultimate corner, to hit quite early on, long left-hander before you're hit with a long right-hander for the final corner. And you can just see it's going. And now up to the line, it's a 1 minute 23.568 that is set by Samtex, the first lap of the night. And that is done. Bielkowski immediately beats that, followed by his teammate Samato. Oh my god! What is going on? A crash in qualifying. I am very, very confused with what has just happened in front of my eyes. And I believe, I'm not sure which team has just suffered a retirement. I don't know which team. It looks like it's an AERO driver that's had a crash. So AERO are the ones in the McLaren. Samato has a bit of a spin. We can see a few times coming in Pablo quite a bit further behind. Ziesel currently without a front wing. Ultimately, as I've just seen, it was the McLaren's fault. It was AERO Luke's or Bielkowski's fault, as he's seen it in that situation. So he's taken the blame for the incident there. Ziesel receives a grid place penalty, and so we won't. I'm not actually sure what we'll be doing, but we'll be figuring out after qualifying. You can see. In that same time, we saw Xeon Gamer improve. He went to a 1 minute 22.503, which is the fastest time of all so far in that Alpine. He's out on the intermediate tyres, though, so there's a bit of a different strategy going on there with himself. We've got Kef, who's coming up to line next in the Sauber. Let's see what he could do as he crosses the line. He goes to P13. Not a bad lap at all. Now P14 he goes down to. So some disappointment so far for the Saubers. And those Saubers are peck at the moment. They didn't have the best of races, of course, in Tier 1 yesterday. And they're not having the best of races again here in Tier 2. So far qualifying being a bit of a struggle. Beast now goes fastest of all on the intermediate tyres, 21.765. So the track is definitely getting faster, dropping below the 1 minute 22s, which is very interesting. It is, of course, the great TTRE that are topping the times for the moment, but only just for the moment they are topping the times. We've got SET Danny coming around the final corner. Let's see what he's going to do. He only jumps to P13, a 1 minute 24 is all that he can muster out of his lap. So it's not all perfect. So there are some difficulties going on, but that lap from Beast was definitely something else, I will say, was definitely something else from him. So that is that Beast, fastest of all by a massive margin for the moment. Looking to a driver who's on a lap at the moment. That was Callum Lyons, who's invalidated his lap. He's invalidated his lap now, so he's just going to be slowly going round. I believe we've got a Wildstorm who's making his way round. He is for MAR. MAR looking for a good night here tonight. They, of course, returned to the Tier 1 Championship after TE sadly shut down, so there was some disappointment there for themselves. So we're going to be seeing, as this race goes on, how the drivers are going to get comfortable and how they're going to be able to really reel in the laps they want. We saw Snipes, he goes P5 in the Haas, which is XPG. So just here's a quick rundown. AERO in the McLaren, MAR in the Mercedes, VELO in the RB, SET in the Aston Martin, POR in the Alpine, LR in the Williams, TTRE in the Red Bull racing car, GRS in the Ferrari, XPG in the Haas, and PEC in the Sauber. So some difficulties, some things going on. We've got Samato, who's currently third in the table, just ahead of his teammate, just by 0.04 of a second for the moment. But let's see how he improves in his Sector 1. He's actually down by 1/10 and a half already. So the intermediate tyres not working out for the McLaren. So that time of Beast might be quite difficult to get to unless he can find lots and lots of time, which for the moment he isn't hugely finding. So as we continue our way through the lovely qualifying we're seeing here tonight. Ryan McLean for SCT goes fastest of all. He's gone to a 1 minute 21.436. Drops below the midway point of the 1 minute 21s. He's clearly finding time in his lap. So some drivers finding time, others aren't finding time. So it's a very debatable zone at the moment for how drivers are feeling on this at the moment. My apologies for doing that. Didn't mean to do that. Ryan McLean, though, at the moment, fastest of all, clearly fastest of all. Nobody is going to be beating him here tonight. He's got a few tenths over the drivers around him. We saw Wildstorm. He just went P3, slotting into the 1 minute 21s. Only 3 drivers have done it so far. We look to Samato, who's currently pushing on a lap. He's up by 800ths in the first sector now, but he's invalidated, pushed it too far. Hello, Timon. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. Just let's look for a driver who is doing well. Lupin. Let's see what Lupin can do as he makes his way round. He's for LR. He invalidates as well. Some drivers struggling to find the track limits too well. I don't think Ziesel is pushing. I don't believe he is pushing. We've now got our 19th driver who's just joined. We'll see. Timon, come on. But we'll see. But you can see Ziesel not pushing on a lap. I think we just saw somebody move up. That was Betsy, who just went up. He went up into P8. Callum Leons has just retired. Something's happened. Somebody's had a spin. It's one of the McLarens that was involved. He's just turned round. What is going on? What is going on over here? Very interesting. That's a penalty on its own. That's, Guess we'll have to figure that one out. We got Fox, who's on a lap. He's just started a lap. TCRE not having the best of days. P2 for one driver, but the other one sitting in P18, still without a lap with only about 6 minutes and 20 seconds left in the session. He has to put together a lap now, or it is never. Let's see his first sector. It's not a bad first sector, I must say. He's definitely just wanting to get in the lap. He's obviously invalidated his first, maybe even 2 runs so far. I believe he's invalidated 2 runs already in this session. We just saw Yanni go up to P2. He's just slotted just in front of Beast, which is a good lap there. SET Danny, I think, just crossed the line. He went up to P14 now. Snapestart has a qualifying ban, which means he's not going to be able to race. He's not going to be able to qualify specifically for tonight. You can see Fox making his way around. Let's see. Can one side of the TCRE garage is kind of celebrating their so far decent qualifying performance. The other side of the garage having a struggle. Very much a realistic Red Bull performance so far going on from each side of the garage. And across the line he goes. He's going to stay P18 and slowest of all by a long, long margin. Massive margin, actually. He stays really low in the order. Disappointing there for him. Snipes is currently improving on a lap. He's improving by almost about 6.5 tenths at the moment. Could send him up into P4 for the moment if he can find even more time in this final sector. He's currently on the soft tyres, so drivers going for different compounds of tyres. Beast, he set his lap on intermediates. He's still P3. And there goes Snipes. He goes up to P2. Just slotting in 100th ahead of Yanni. Strong lap there from the Haas. Exactly what you'd be expecting to see from the Haas here tonight. And from, and ultimately from this team generally. I don't even know what to say. But yeah, so it's all going to come down to this, really. So, yeah, in the Haas is XPG. So XPG coming in rather strong here tonight. So yeah, so not a lot of drivers currently out on track for the moment. We're waiting to see somebody who does actually cross, who's quite close to the crossing line. I think it's a Red Bull that's just started a lap. We've got Ziesel, who's just started a lap as well. His teammate Samtex was on a lap, but has invalidated now, so he's going to be waiting in behind. We've got Wildstorm. No, it's his teammate Yanni, who's gone for another run. Yanni improves. He goes to P2. 1 minute 21.491. Again, teammates getting pretty close, getting a little bit pushy and shovey between teammates. Everybody just trying to find the extra few tenths in this for the moment. Every driver just trying their best to do this right now. So it all comes down to this, really. So currently there's a call for a lobby restart. So we'll figure that out. I've just got to see. So we will be having a lobby restart here tonight, sadly, because of the incident between, it was Bielkowski and I believe that was Ziesel, who both had an incident. They ultimately got a 5-place grid penalty for Ziesel, which means so a bit of disappointment. Ryan McLean on another lap. He's still on those intermediate tyres. He still feels the intermediates are the way to go. Which is an interesting thought to have, is whether he still thinks they can do it. And clearly they still do. Another half a second found. 1 minute 20.976. Pushing away the competition again by another half a second. He's now got a gap in front. So at the moment, Ryan McLean really cleaning the floor with his opponents. I believe we will be having a lobby restart with this. So, we've had another retirement. I believe that was Xeon Gamer, who's just... So looking at this for the moment. So Lupin, by the way, going P2. He gets even closer than anyone else. LR really pushing for something here tonight. Ziesel also retires from the session. He's had enough. He's had enough with the session. Ultimately, Beast with an even better lap time than what Ryan McLean could do. And that puts him into first. And provisional pole qualifying is coming to an end. 1 minute 20.734 is the time to now beat. We're looking further behind to Samato. He can't improve. He doesn't find the time. It's one of the Saubers. It is the Sauber of Kef. He doesn't improve enough. We just saw... SEC Danny come across the line, trying to figure out who's coming across the line next. That was Fox who was coming around. Now we have Sam Tex who's coming up to the line. He's going to go fast of all. VEL pushing for pole position here tonight. They are going for it. They want to make this work. They need to make this work. Here comes Who Kid, and across the line he goes P7. Not enough from himself. He knows he can't improve on that. Lupin's coming around. He's not improving. So that's going to be the end of qualifying for himself. There's only a few drivers to come around now. And one of them is Yanni. He's not improving either. Only Ryan McLean can now dethrone Sam Tex. Let's see, across the line. Can he do it? No, he can't. It is Sam Tex on pole position. So, here is the grid order for the race. Sam Tex is on pole, followed by Beast, Ryan McLean, Yanni, Pablo, Lupin, Samato, Hookid, Snipes, Kef, Wildstorm, Xeon Gamers, Ziesel, Betzel, SEC Danny, Bielkowski, TTRE Fox, Calamions, and Snapestar. We will be having a lobby restart, by the way, so I'll let you guys see the absolute chaos that's approaching. So I know you guys love seeing the chaos we have going on here. So yeah, so there will be a lobby restart. So yeah, so the drivers will just be retiring from the session. We might as well see the chaos. I do love it a bit when we get lobby restarts. This is due to Ziesel, by the way, getting a grid penalty. This is the main reason why, is because he got a grid penalty. All the drivers just retire from the session. Chaos into turn one. Holy, the chaos. Generally, sometimes I do love the chaos, but this is the sort of chaos I kind of enjoy, to be honest. Got this man going around incredibly slowly. Yeah, we're just waiting for this man to retire. So he is retired now. All finished and done. So we're going to return to the comms box for a little bit as we sort out the grid order, especially after qualifying itself. Yeah, chaos, just chaos. But I kind of love, I love chaos, to be honest. I love the chaos of it. It's kind of fun. But yeah, so I'll be sorting the drivers now into who's doing what. So we're currently waiting for this race to be over. Just waiting and waiting and waiting for it to finally be over. We're just looking at the results screen currently, and then we'll be loading back in as we get the results. Let's have one quick look through the track map once again, just to remind you guys of where we are. We come to Budapest in Hungary for the 4.381 kilometer, 2.738 mile circuit, 14 turns. It is ultimately 2 DRS zones down. the pit straight and down the next straight. Very interesting circuit, an intricate circuit with huge amounts of elevation throughout. We're going to be going to an intermission quickly before we get going. So I will see you in the next few minutes. Bye. So, we now return for the race. The grid has now been set. The grid has now been set. It's been redone. Everybody should be getting ready to race. Everybody's in the correct positions. We've had the 20th driver join us for tonight's race, just in time between qualifying and the race. They'll be starting last. That's for POR. Of course, remember, POR are the reigning champions of Tier 2. So for them, the Tier 1 champions have not returned. The Tier 2 and Force Championships champions have returned. We'll be readying up at 36 past for the race. So we've got 3 minutes to go through a few things. If you guys remember, please think about subscribing and leaving a like. We're getting so close to 150 subscribers. It's unbelievable that we've had so much growth even this season. Also, make sure to click on that notification bell and leave a like on the channel. It means a lot to us here at FRLT. Also, make sure to go and follow us on Twitter. And as well, come and join our Discord server. Also, thanks to our sponsors, Rogue Energy, for this season. So we're about to get into it in the next about 3 minutes' time. Drivers getting their setups, getting their strategy. Remember, what is the strategy for this track? Well, it's debatable, really. Some drivers like to go for the hard tyres and then go for the mediums. It is a sunny day as well, so it's a complete reverse. It's the complete reverse of how qualifying was. So the drivers, of course, they get to choose their setup again. They get to change it for, if they weren't wet, they can now change it to dry. Parc fermé is off, which is going to allow them to have some strengths over their opposition. So it means that possibly if they didn't have a good wet setup for the race, they've now got their dry setup and they might be a lot faster. So there could be some pace differences. I don't know who's going to win, but at the moment, Beast, and just at the moment, just generally a lot of them have the strength to go on to win. And we're just going to have to wait and see, to be honest. We're going to have to wait and see how tonight goes. Beast is looking like one of the favourites for tonight. Of course, he's looking mighty strong. He did it earlier in qualifying, couldn't do it towards the end of qualifying. So TTRE looking like they got some good strength in their team tonight. Samtex, though, putting it on pole by a decent amount as well. Might leave some teams open to sort of, are they going to be able to catch him or not during the race? It's all going to come down to the race start, really, and that's where everything and anything could go wrong, and usually does go wrong. Of course, we had that crash in qualifying, which made us have a lobby restart. So we're going to be waiting to see in the next few moments as we get underway for tonight's race in Hungary. It is Season 3 of FRLT. Can't believe we made it to the 3rd season, and it is Tier 2 once again for a turning season. POR need a big race here tonight. They really do. One of their drivers starting last. I believe their other driver isn't starting too well in. POR, though, looking at them, they don't have a strong lineup this week. One of their saviours last season was Obulf, who really put it together. So we're about to get into it now. The race is getting ready and ready to go. I can hear the lights in the background. So we're going to be seeing the lights and the whole grid in the next few moments. Here we are. As you can see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go for Season 3 of Tier 2 in FRLT, and it is a great getaway from Samtex. Not so much on the second part of his start. Now Beast pulls up into the lead of the race with Ryan McLean. Oh, from behind! Massive contact from behind. Yanni diving it down the inside. It looks like he's gotten damage. A few drivers dropping through the order rather heavily. We also saw another Mercedes his teammate, I believe that was Wild, also having a problem off the start. So a decent getaway from Beast. Oh, a crash in the first sector. That is a virtual safety car, and that is another McLaren that sees themselves in an incident with Xeon, with the POR driver, which it's POR and it's POR and AERO who have a bad start. That was ultimately Xeon, and that's not a good start for POR's campaign. Neither of their drivers now inside of the top 10. POR on their way to not scoring points. Bit of a crazy start, but neither are AERO, currently 17th and 19th. So not good starts from some of the best teams in the championship. Really rough start from them. So some craziness going on there, but so far a pretty clean start from our top 10. Nobody really, only really I would say was the Mercedes of Yanni, who dived down the inside, was the biggest thing. But we're under VSC virtual safety car, so we're just gonna be waiting for these guys to come around. Snape Star comes into the pits, and now we are going once again. We can see some moves going on further behind. We do have a move going on round the outside. Ziesel is trying to get past the Ferrari of Callum Leons. Let's see what he can do on the Ferrari, on the GI Stride. Deep into turn 2 he goes. He's trying to push his way past, locking tyres. They're not going to make their way through there. Still going side by side. We've got a bit of battling up in front over P7. And that is between Lupin and Snipes, who are both going at it to fight for this position. Lupin not getting the best of starts. But probably the biggest loser from the start was ultimately Samtex, who's dropped down 5 places off the start. He's not gotten away well. It was a really poor getaway from the VEL driver. And now he sits P6 and really looks like he might be out of contention for a win, because Yanni is holding up this group with his wing damage. Now sitting almost 1.5 seconds behind the drivers in front. You can see a move happening behind Pablo, getting a dive from Hookid. Doesn't work out in the end. It allows him to stay up into P3, that it's going to become, because Yanni has now released the rest of the grid as they make their way down the pit straight. Once again, DRS, of course, enabled. Here comes the Haas. We can look at that. Pablo's still got DRS on the drivers behind. We can see Callum Leons going down the inside. He's gone really deep into the corner. It's far too deep for him to gain a position. He's actually lost out to Ziesel heavily there and loses out to Wild just within one corner, and that is some disappointment there for the Ferrari, but he's going to try and battle his way back past. Can the Ferrari do it? No, he can't, and he's going to be slipping down to P10. And here actually comes Kef, who's also trying to make a move. Kef tries to push past, unable to. Callum Leons won't allow him through, but GRS trying to hold on to the final points paying position for dear life. We also saw a bit of a battle up ahead with Pablo and Snipes, who were going at it, along with Samtex, but Pablo's having to sit in P5 for the moment. He's really having to sit there. Peck really trying to fight their way through. They're really trying to pick up some good points off of this opening race, but it's damage to the Peck driver's car as well. I must say, a lot of chaos off the start, but the two drivers that's actually, they've gotten away very nicely from all of this is Beast and Ryan McLean, who have both come away. They've about 3 seconds ahead of Hookid, and they just know this might just be a two-way battle for the whole race. Beast struggling to pull away from the Aston Martin. Ryan McLean trying to take the lead of the race for the first time. Can Ryan McLean do it? He covers off the line incredibly well from Beast. Very good defensive moving there into turn 1. Some drivers fail off of the exit, but ultimately Beast controls this lead very heavily. And this is kind of what we've seen in previous years at Hungary, that if a driver can get the pit straight right, he can very much get the rest of the lap right. And so far, that's coming true for Beast, and he's just pushing his way through this race. Of course, remember, it's 35 laps, and we're only on lap 4 out of it, and it's quite a long race. Let's have a look at the positions gained and lost. Hookid gained 5 places, so it's been a decent start from him. 8 places gained from Callum Leons, so he's actually gained a lot. Same as POR William, who's gained 7. Yanni and Samato both losing 13 and 12 respectively, the two biggest losers, and Xeon, of course, having that retirement. Tyre-wise, most drivers going for the mediums only. 3 drivers started on the mediums, on the hard, sorry, and 2 have pitted to change to the hard. So A lot changing there. Ryan McLean, big mistake came from him just a second ago because he's now about a second behind the race lead. He's dropped back a bit. He hasn't got DRS now, so this is going to hurt him quite a bit. You can see Ziesel trying to make his way up through the order. He's battling with Lupin over P7 again. Down the inside, he's going to have that inside line. Can he defend well enough? Yes, he is. He's still going to be defending all the way through the corner. It is battling all throughout, but there's a battle for the podium. It is between Samtex and Hukid. Samtex, on the hard tyres, is going to try and push his way past the Haas. Can he do it? Yes, he has. He has pulled off the move, and that is the move that Samtex needed to make. Remember, Samtex is on those hard tyres. So I'm quite surprised that the hard tyres are proving to be quite pacey out there versus the mediums for the moment. Just for the moment, remember, because there is still a long way to go in this race. And about lap 15, about between lap 12 to 16 is when the mediums really give up. And so we could be seeing pit stops from as early as lap 12. So make sure to be watching out for that sort of coming by, that, you know, the tyres start to struggle really early on for the medium runners, but the hards can easily go till lap 20 to even 25, so the hards go a lot longer. POR William getting a 3-second time penalty, first penalty of the night, so some more disappointment coming in for POR. One retirement, and the other driver not looking like he's going to be scoring points. Pablo now battling again with Ziesel. He's got that wing damage, which is not helping him in tonight's race. He is really struggling to hold on to that in tonight's race. As you can see, chasing down the pit straight is Ziesel, but in the end, Pablo really using his car as wide as he can. You can see some battling again. Lupin has made his way past Ziesel in the end, and there he goes, up to P7. Front wing damage for quite a few drivers, yet somehow they're being able to still be in good contention and fighting. Samtex though, Samtex not keeping up with the front two at the moment, sitting about 3-second gap. He's lost about 2/10 from the last lap, so he is losing out pretty much through just purely DRS. Bielkowski now gets the 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, but I must say, a crazy start it was, but the drivers have become a little bit calmer, and they're all racing rather nicely, but there is a massive train that goes from 5th all the way down to 11th for the moment. That's the massive train that you can see on the mini-map in the bottom right. But the top 4 kind of spaced out. Top 2 on their own. Third and fourth also on their own in this race very much. Sort of 3 seconds split between all of them. So at the moment, they're sort of on their own in this race. Battle for the podium, battle for the win definitely on. As you can see now, Lupin now finally comes in. Drivers are going all over the place. They're all trying to fight for this. Wildstorm now makes his way past Ziesel, or he's trying to. Into turn 1 they go. Wildstorm has the inside line, but he's gone a bit deep into the corner. Ziesel doesn't get a good exit, though. It actually allows Wildstorm to go as wide as he wants, and that now allows a good exit from the Mercedes and allows them to hold on to P7 there. An attack coming from the Ferrari of Callum Leons, who also wants to try and make a move early. Pierre William and Lupin both in the pit. Some early stoppers in this race. I must say, quite a lot of early stoppers. 5 drivers have now stopped early in tonight's race, and you can see that from how spread out they are. And oh, that's a moment! That is a moment for the man of POR William, who spun it out of turn 1. POR having the most awful of evenings, and the most awful of races they've had so far in their entire time in FRLT. At the moment, they're on their way for no points, which will be the first time ever that POR haven't scored points in a race in FRLT, which will be is a far cry from their best of taking victories. Tier 2 not starting out good for the reigning champions. They'll really be hoping that their main campaign won't be as bad as this. When it comes down to also 4s, they're hoping their 4th campaign won't be as bad either. But this has not been the start they've been looking for. But returning our eyes to the front, Samtex is starting to catch up a bit as we move further back. Oh, a big hit from Pablo as he tries to turn in. It doesn't work. And also he leaves Wildstorm maybe with some damage. I don't think he has damage. But that was a very risky move from Pablo there, and one that he should have taken. We got Kef and Callum Leons fighting. Now, Kef makes his way past into P9. The Sauber pushing its way past. Peck really trying to battle for points here. Only on their way for 8 points to finish out their first round at the moment if they finish where they are. So it's all up to debate for these drivers. It's all up to them for whether they can do it or they can't. But we'll have to see as the race goes on. Callum Leons and another driver, POR William, now retires. It is a full it's disappointingly a full double DNF from POR, their first ever in FRLT. It is pure disappointment for them. I have no words. I'm quite sad for the reigning champions that their opening race has been completely the reverse of how they ended their campaign last season, becoming champions. So clearly, some things have changed between Season 2 and Season 3. Not everybody is getting along so well. Now, watching, you can see Kef trying to make some moves. He's gotten past his teammate, some teammate work going on there. He also got past Cecil at the same time. So up to P7 goes Sal. He's nicely pulled past his teammate. Teammate giving him time. Hello, Ethan Devaney. Welcome to the stream. I hope you are doing well here tonight. Once again, supporting one of the drivers. Yanni for MAR now retires from the session. He's done with it. He knows he can't improve. That's the third retirement of the night. Disappointing to see some teams that have generally performed well in previous seasons really struggling to pull off anything here tonight. Looking to Beast, though. The top three now getting a bit closer because Samtex has really caught up now on those hard tires. The mediums have really gone away rather quickly in the last sort of lap or two. They've really gone downhill in degradation because you could just see how Beast and Ryan McLean have been caught by Samtex. Currently now sitting just 8/10 behind the front two. He's also got DRS on Ryan McLean at the same time. So he's caught up to this battle over the victory and over P2 and the lead. So it is really all down now that it's now a three-way battle once again here tonight. It's a battle, a quite heavy battle. As we can see, there's a yellow flag. That is for Samato, who's actually brought out a safety car. He's retired out on track as well, which is against the rules. Which is very, very disappointing to see. But it is a safety car, and that might bring back some hope for some drivers. And it's actually going to bring some hope for Beast and Ryan McLean, who will be holding on to their 1-2 for a little bit longer than before. But it is ultimately our first safety car of Tier 2 that comes out in the opening race. Now, as we watch, just see, is Beast going to come in? Does he feel like his tyres are gone enough? Is he going to come in? Yes, he is. He's going to come in. They're all going to come in, actually. So maybe a swap of tyres is going to go on them. They might be hoping for a two-stop. A lot of drivers. 4 retirements, though, in just 10 laps is just incredibly disappointing to see when you have so many retirements in such a short space of time. Who's staying out, though? I think it is Kef who's staying out. Yes, he is. He's going to try and take the lead of this race. Will he be able to? Yes, he will. He will take the lead of the race. First time we've seen a change for the lead in this entire race. 10 laps led by Beast. He's led them all completely with some dominance from VEL. From VEL. My brain stops working. From ultimately the team of TTRE. I was going to say TTRE. I don't know why I said VEL. But TTRE, dominance from them so far. And actually, Beast does come out in P2 anyway with his rivals of Ryan McLean and Samtex sitting right behind him. But it's allowing everybody to close up. It's allowing all 16 drivers to close up in this race. So it is all down to them. So we'll have to see as this race goes on. So, as the drivers make their way around, I don't think we're going to be getting going. Kef might be the first driver other than Beast to lead a whole lap in this race. The only other driver that took P1 at any point was off at the start with Samtex, but ultimately it wasn't a proper lead from Samtex. So really only Beast has led. Now Kef has led for the second most out of anybody. It's going to be interesting whether he'll also continue to lead. No, he's going to... No, he stays out. He's staying out on those hard tyres. He feels they can go even further than expected. He's the only driver out there on current tyres. Let's actually have a look at the tyres while we're here. Only one driver going to the mediums, and that is Samtex, who's gone to the mediums. And ultimately, it is Kef, who's the only driver who has yet to stop in this race. So now we are waiting for the safety car to leave, probably at the end of this lap that it is going to come. So we're just going to be waiting and waiting to see when the safety car finally does feel like it is done with going around the track and having its driver of the day. So far, it's been a pretty depressing day for, of course, POR not coming away well at all. Disappointing day for a lot of teams. AERO as well. They've really come away poorly. DNF and P13 at the moment with the penalty. It's just been a really rough day. Hello, yes, hello, Ethan Devaney. Welcome to the stream. It's going to be an interesting race from now on because Kef, of course, he's leading this race. He's led one lap so far. Probably going to go on to leading his second lap as well, possibly even onto a third. But what's going to be interesting is as we see the race go on, who is really going to be the dominant one who comes out here? Because we know how strong, for instance, Beast has been. He's led every lap, so he's led near on every single lap. He's led 10 out of the 12 laps that we've had. Safety car is now in. Kef gets to control the grid all he wants. He gets to control it all the way round for as long as he wants, and whenever he wants to go, he can go. Gonna have to wait and see while Kef does that. Let's see whether he does want to take a sprint for it as he goes around the final corner. Let's see. Kef makes his way around slowly. He's waiting to go. He's waiting to go. He's waiting to get around the final corner. When is he going to go? He's leaving it very late. And now he goes. He's actually set off incredibly well. It's a really good getaway from Kef himself. A lot of drivers getting away incredibly well. He's gotten away very well from all of that. Samtex trying to make a move around the outside. He's actually made the move on Ryan McLean. He's actually trying to push now on Beast as well to take away P2. Can he do it? He's trying around the outside. He's got this massive amount of grip, but the RB unable to do so just yet. VEL trying to take an early lead of this race. He's going to have to stop again because he cannot go 22 laps on those tyres. That is his main problem, is that he won't be able to go that long. But VEL are pushing for a different strategy. Here he comes down the inside into the right-left chicane. He pushes his way past Beast. Beast can't do anything but let the RB go. And that is VEL now up into the top two. Now, Samtex is chasing down Kef for the lead. I think it's going to be a pretty easy move. He's made a pretty easy move of everybody else. Now, into the next chicane. Is he going to go for it? No, he's going to be waiting behind. Big lockup from the Sauber, by the way. Now, down the inside goes Samtex. He's going to make an easy move. And into the lead goes Samtex. The place where he would have thought he would have been a lot earlier on in this race. And where he thinks he should have been a lot earlier on and off for the start. But now he retakes that lead and goes on to lap 14, leading the race. And that is a new driver. That's a third driver to lead, to cross the line in the lead. And look at this. Dive bomb down the inside from Beast, trying to push Kef off of line and stop the man of Samtex from getting too big of a lead here. But Samtex is not letting it be an easy fight here. He really isn't allowing it. He's now a second off in the lead. He's, all that you can see for Beast. For Beast here, the only problem he's having, of course, is that he's just watching the VEL driver of Samtex just go further and further off into the lead. Now 1.4 seconds. And the problem for Beast here, he's not able to make the move past a fellow hard tyre runner. And this is just allowing the RB to pull massively in front. And remember, the RB is probably going to have to stop again. So now this leaves, along with Kef as well, but this now leaves the problem of that if Beast can't get past the Sauber, he's just losing massive amounts of time to the driver in front, and it's just more and more time that he can't be losing. Look at that, still stuck behind 2.4, 2.5 seconds. he's just getting more and more stuck behind. And he just can't help it. He's lost so much time. His time almost tripled from earlier on in the lap. Now he's finally going to be able to make the move on Kef. So is Ryan McLean. Ryan McLean trying to make a move around the outside. He's going to try and make that move work. He's unable to. But look at this. We've got some good side-by-side action going on. Everybody is racing for position now. Down the inside, we see a Haas further back, locking up heavily. Beast is going to hold on to his position. But Samtex now finds himself near on 3 seconds out in the lead. And if he got a penalty, he'd be safe from the drivers behind. Almost safe for the moment. You can see Beast is now pushing very heavily. You can see Callum Leon's trying to make his way past. He's trying to gain some places now. He's trying to get past Kef as fast as he can. He's going to be going up the inside. We can't really see well here. Here he comes. Down the inside he goes. He's going to be making his way past. He does make his way past. And that's Callum Leon's up into P5. And really, in this case, really in this case here, GRS are pushing for big points here tonight. But with his penalty, it will send him outside of the top 10 just for now. But we'll have to see later on as the race goes on. Ziesel trying to make a move. He's unable to. He's trying to follow through what his teammate did as well. Don't mind the safety car sign up in the top left. It is purely a glitch with spectating. So don't be worried. It isn't still a safety car. They're not breaking the rules. It is simply just a visual glitch within the game. And there is a spin. There's a spinner. It is Lupin who's round. He's found himself spin round. And that is LR's day just getting worse and worse. Ziesel now makes the move into turn 1. He goes. He's going to try and make the move. Yes, he does. And it's a successful move made from the RB car and from ultimately himself. That's a very strong move. And it's a very easy move made for the moment. Hello, WR Daniel. Welcome to the stream. I hope you are doing well. Now, as we watch, Ziesel just makes his way round. Rather speedy. He's trying to get up to this top 5 again. Get into the battle for the lead. Battle for the podium as well. Because remember, we've still got this battle for a podium. We've got 2nd, 3rd, 4th. All without penalties at the moment, who are all in this battle for P2. They're all trying to keep up. We've also got Callum Leons and Ziesel and Kef and Wild all trying to keep up and make overtakes to actually get up into these places and ultimately fight for a podium or even a win as the day goes on. But you can see Beast is actually closing on Samtex here, which isn't what VEL will be wanting. It's a real struggle for VEL because they wouldn't expect the mediums to be going off this quickly. But I just think Beast has just been so incredibly strong for TTRE today that really it's going to be very difficult to stop him from closing in, because you can just see the gap is closing massively. Has he pushed the mediums too early? Is he going a bit too easy now, thinking he's got this good lead? What is going on the VEL garage and with that car? So, as we can see, Samtex making his way round. The gap now dropping below 2.5 seconds. It is dropping quite a bit, 0.6 from 2 laps ago. It's dropped rather quite a bit. That's now 0.7. He seems to be really being caught out in the corners because those hard tyres seem to be ripping into his time massively. But for Samtex here, it's really survival. He's got to try and go as long as he can on these medium tyres and try and build as big of a gap as he can, because Beast is pushing quite hard. As you can see, I'm not sure about the ERS. The ERS seems to be about midway for Samtex. For Beast, though, where is he sitting with it? He's about midway as well, so they're both pretty much equal with it. So we'll have to see, but the gap is now below 2 seconds. It's sitting at about that 2-second barrier. But these drivers up in the side of the top 5 are all chasing down the race leader, and who knows what is going to happen when they do reach him. Now, Pablo making the move on his teammate for P9. Trying to chase down as well. Here comes Snipes at the same time. Snipes making the move on the Peck driver as well. There he goes, up into P10. But with that penalty, it's going to push him back down to about P13 in the end. So, for the moment, no points are going to be coming the way of the man of Snipes. And it will look like a little bit of a disappointing day for themselves. Of course, for XP. Oh my god! Holy! What is going on there? It is a safety car! That is a massive crash! I have never seen a crash that big! Oh my Oh my, oh my. Wow. Just wow. I don't even know what to say. This helps Samtex in the end because he can now go onto the hard tyres once again and go to the end of this race. I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna try and find. I'm just trying to see what actually happened because I was watching it, but I was also looking down at my notes. But holy, Snipes' day comes to an end. I don't know really what to say. Also, Ryan McLean stays out along with Callum Leon's. Oh, bit of contact there, but Ryan McLean stays out for the moment. He's staying out in the lead. He wants to take the lead for a little while. I'm generally very, very, very. I'm just shocked. By the way, I'm not like trying to just fold on you guys. I'm just. I'm a little bit lost because there's a lot of it's crazy. It's crazy. XPG's day on one side of the garage is going pretty well. P6 now onto the medium tyres. We'll go till the end of the race on them. The other side has a retirement. 4 teams now suffered retirements. Man, somebody was sent into the air. Just shocking. Just shocking. I have generally no words for that here tonight. No words. Of course, we'll be looking at that afterwards. After the absolute chaos we've just seen. The absolute chaos I've just seen. I don't know what to say. But in this case, to some degree, again, Samtex can go to the end on the medium tyres. He should be able to shift through these guys pretty easily. But I don't know if Samtex forgot or just was completely blind. But he should have realised the hard tyres were starting to catch him. Beast has just gone to hard tyres. They're going to be going for about 15 laps. The mediums wear out about that time. So he is under threat from Beast. Ryan McLean, though, might be out of the chance of a win because he hasn't stopped. Same as Callum Leons and Betsy. But they will definitely shake up the order, of course. They're definitely going to make it difficult for these guys to get past them. They're all racing, of course. They're not. There's no lapped cars. They're all racing each other. So it is all going to be incredibly close as the race goes on. But we're on lap 20 of 35. Only 15 laps remain of this race. Ryan McLean leads for the first time tonight. And there's a little bit of leading for SET, which is a rather interesting one, I must say. That's the big question. SET and that Aston Martin. It's going to be pretty interesting. SET getting some laps led. Their Season 2 campaign in Tier 2 wasn't successful. They had about 2-3 good races in their season, but their form overall wasn't strong, only scoring about 2 points as an average. Outside of their best races, they were scoring on average between about 1.9 points per race. That was their average, was 1.9 points per race, which was very, very low for all teams. Safety cars now coming in this lap. Like before, like we saw with Sam Tex, I believe it was, or it was another driver, I can't remember who it was. The man leaving was Kef, actually. Sorry, it was Kef. Ryan McLean gets to control when he wants to go and when he wants to push, and he wants to get the grid going again. Is he going to go now? He's got actually quite an odd gap. He is going now. He's gone rather when a big gap has actually just come out of nowhere. About a second gap. Callum Leon's just really getting jumped on there. And that's a big problem for himself. You can now see side-by-side racing. Is it going to go 3 wide into turn 1? No, Samtex thinks better. He doesn't want to make it 3 wide, but he has got a 2 wide situation in front of himself. As now we head down the hill towards turn 2 now. They're still going side-by-side. You can see the medium tyres trying to get up to some heat here, but Ryan McLean really pulling out a bit of a lead now. Already 1.5 seconds this lead could be something quite powerful. Here comes Samtex down the inside into the next corner. The Williams has to give him a bit of space there, but ultimately it's not enough for him to make a move around the outside. He's trying to make the move on the Williams. Is he going to brake later? Yes, he is. Bit of contact with him over the curb. He jumps, and Beast ultimately gets past him at the same time, and that was a move that maybe was just a bit too risky, because now he's behind his opposition. Who Kid's dropping through the order. He's gone off track. He's had a bit of an incident. He's down to P9. More disappointment coming in for XPG here tonight. They're not looking like they're going to be walking away with a decent first race in their campaign. The same as quite a few other teams, I must say. So it's not only them. Pablo gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. But now you can see Ryan McLean leads by about 1.8 seconds over Callum Lyons. So this is now going to be an interesting last sprint of the race, the last bit of this race. But that move, that start was really good from Ryan McLean. It's given him this strongish sort of lead where he's going to be able to just stay in front. The hard tyres, of course, they're not giving up on the drivers as of yet and won't really till the end of the race. Whether Ryan McLean can stretch these tyres out till the end is the big question. But he's got this nice-ish sort of lead where he's about a corner ahead of his opposition. And so, for the moment, he's doing pretty nicely. It's just Beast and Samtex who should be thinking, we need to get through these drivers quickly. And especially for now, Beast needs to get past Betsy incredibly quickly because he's dropping back quite heavily. About 9/10 is now the gap between second and third. That's dropping now to about 7/10. But you can see Beast really wants to make that move and put a position between him and Samtex. And look at this, trying to go for a move. Is he going for a move? No, he isn't. Not yet. Samtex, though, having to have a bit of a battle with Bielkowski for the moment. Bielkowski goes very far off the track. But you can see Beast making his way around very, very quickly. Let's see what this man can do in the Rebel Racing Car for TTRE. He wants to retake the lead. It's taken him a while, but he's going to be having his fierce rival from this race, Samtex, all over the back of him, moving to the left side. Now into turn one they go. Deep on the brakes, almost hitting into Betsy for a second. I got a little bit scared. My heart stopped for a small second there, but they're still racing down the hill towards turn two. You could see Samtex trying to find a way past, any sort of way past, but he's still unable to in that RB. It's Red Bull Racing versus RB for the moment. But I must say, it's an incredibly interesting few corners we're having here, where really an attack is going on. Look at the McLaren, though, of Bielkowski. He's also trying to make the move, but still unable to. Now he is going for it. Down the inside goes the McLaren. He's trying to make that move work, but that McLaren, just Bielkowski, unable to make the move as of yet. You can just see how troublesome overtaking has been so far in this race, especially when the drivers are so close to each other, when they're all within DRS, when they're all in a DRS train, really. That's the main problem. You can see all the way up to Callum Lyons. He's got enough straight line speed, and he builds enough of a gap before the pit straight to make a move. We can see a move developing here in front. It's actually between Beast and Betsy. Finally, a battle is going on. Beast is finally trying to push his way past. He's going to push his way past. And there he goes. He's going to try and make it 3 wide with Samtex as well. Into turn one they go. Samtex trying to get the best out of them all. He is going to try and get the best. Now it's a two-way battle. Betsy dropping down the order. Down to P6 now. Now into turn 3. Look at the wide gap. Oh! Samtex, bit of contact. He's still wiggling on the rear. Beast makes his way past. Although, was that contact on purpose? Did he turn in? Or was it just he couldn't go any deeper? So ultimately, Beast now up to P3 and now chasing after Callum Lyons and then chasing the lead of Ryan McLean, who currently now has a lead of almost 3 seconds. Now, a gap is really starting to form. I've just noticed this and a car has gone off. It is actually Snipes. Snipes is retired. He's left. He's retired and left the session. And that is it for the Haas. That's XPG's day done. XPG double DNF for themselves to start off their campaign. Oh, XPG. What is going on? Beast now makes the move on Callum Lyons into turn 1. Callum is fighting it though. Big contact on the rear. They're still going at it. I don't think the Red Bull will be too happy with that now. Into turn 2 he goes. You can see Samtec's trying to push his way past as well. And ultimately, I think he just has in the end of it. And there he goes. Into P2 he goes. But ultimately, that is a good following from Samtex. That's exactly what Samtex will be hoping to do and needing to do. But as you can see, the gap is now 3.4 seconds with 10 laps to go. Beaster's really got to try and close that down. He's got to close it down very heavily for the moment. But we've had some decent racing going on. Disappointing to see that we have had 6 retirements. Just over... Just a fifth of the... not even a fifth of the grid. I don't even know anymore, to be honest. I don't even know. Don't even know. I don't even know anymore. I don't know. I think it's 30% of the grid now gone. We've only got 70% left. This race has been pretty crazy. 30% of the grid now gone in this race. But you can see Beast has closed in by about 4/10, about half a second this lap now on Ryan McLean. So that lead might not be for much longer unless Samtex and Beast start battling, which is, of course, the only thing that he'll be hoping for. Ziesel getting a move done. Into P8 he goes. Also, Kef trying to make the move as well. But really, XPG's day struggling. POR's day even worse. Ultimately, both XPG and POR not walking away from this too well. But look at that gap. It's starting to crumble now down another. About 4/10 of a second this lap. Really, Ryan McLean is not going to hold on to that lead. He also got a time penalty while I was actually looking away. He's got, I believe, a 3-second time penalty. So now, Beast is almost in for an entire chance of getting that. So we'll have to see. As the race, we've only got 10 laps remaining. 10 whole laps of this race remain. And that is coming down incredibly quickly. I must say, incredibly quickly. So if you guys are enjoying this race, please think about subscribing and leaving a like. Also, click on the notification bell to know about all of the content we'll release from videos, shorts, and even these races for streams. Also, make sure to go and follow us on Twitter. The link is down below. Also, thanks to our sponsors, Rogue Energy, for sponsoring us for Season 3 of FRLT. But Beast now, within 2 seconds, he's made that drop down by a massive second this lap. Really, Ryan McLean is now struggling, and he's really fighting to try and stay in the lead, but that gap is just dropping massively. The chance for this is not really on for the moment. It's really not happening for the SET driver. The most I would say he could hope for at the moment is P3. That's really the most he'll be hoping for at the end of the day, as long as he can keep ahead of Wildstorm by about 3 seconds, which at the moment he does have. But that gap might be dropping, and probably will be dropping very soon. But you can see now below 1.5 seconds. Let's ride on board with the Red Bull. Now through into the middle sector he goes. He's got to try and throw the car through. He's got to try and use everything he's got. He really is trying to use everything he's got. You can see Beast, he doesn't even really need to push too hard to keep up with Ryan McLean. And he is gaining and gaining. He hasn't gained as much as he did. Or maybe he might just gain a little bit more this lap. So we'll have to see. It's through this long left and right that he gains the most amount of time. He's not going to have DRS this lap, but he will have it onto the next lap, I do believe, if he can get it. See, he's now within a second. Now the Red Bull sits just about on that second gap. This is exactly what Beast will be hoping for. He knows Ryan McLean is now at his weakest in this race, and that's all he'll be caring about, is that he's at his weakest and that he can push and try to make an overtake. Samtex, though, he's fallen off slightly, about half a second behind. He's struggling a little bit on the mediums to keep up with the hards now. Struggling just a little bit to keep up with Beast for the moment. VEL, of course, they won yesterday. They won last night. Currently before any provisional stewards standings. That's provisional. But they are currently hoping for a back-to-back victory. But Samtex is struggling a little bit more now. He's struggling on his medium tyres. They've gotten a bit of wear. The hards are still going incredibly well. You can just see through the corners, Samtex losing out. He's now back to about 8/10 behind, and he isn't gaining at all. So, as we watch, yellow flag, a retirement from Pablo as well. Disappointing, only 13 drivers left. Another driver, sadly we lose another driver here tonight. Pet driver out. Oh, this night being rough for some teams and good for others. But now a change for the lead. Beast, it's close enough. He's made the move. And that is a return to lead for Beast. He led for 10 laps in this race. He's now hoping to lead for the final 6 laps as well to add on to that. But a lot of drivers looking like they might be either retiring or giving up their hopes here tonight. The points are still on for a chance. But we'll have to see as the race goes on. Ziesel, by the way, making the move. He's trying to get past Betsy for P6. He's trying to make the move, but unable to just as of yet. Those old hard tyres still holding on for dear life for the moment. They're still holding on. Same for Callum Leons, who's currently holding on to these hard, really, really old and hard tyres for the moment that are currently, don't even know how many laps old they are. But you can see they're 18 laps old. They're really holding on for dear life. They're going to go to almost about 25, 26 laps old by the end of the race. And so, you know, the fact that they're still holding on, he goes off a bit there. A bit of a struggle there for Callum Leons. He's not having the best of days. He's, I believe, got 2 penalties already in this race. I think he has 6 seconds of penalties. So today's not going too well for himself. Of course, his teammate was, of course, GRS, hoping that they can take some points away from this. They'll probably finish either P8 or P9, so they will take a few points, but not many, even with the great drive that we're seeing going on. Because here comes Wild. He's going to make the move. It's going to be an easy move into turn 1. And that's now demoted down to P5 for Callum Leons here tonight. By the way, a real big thing going on out in the lead is the fact that Beast has now gotten a second lead over Ryan McLean. But Ryan McLean has still not been caught or overtaken by Samtex. Samtex is really struggling on his mediums now. The best I could see the VEL driver finishing is probably P2 at the moment. I think that's the best we're going to see from VEL in Tier 2 for tonight. They'll get double points. They'll take P... At the moment, it will be a P2 and P5 finish. So at least they'll be walking with 28 points, which I believe might be the most for any team. And they might take, I think they're going to be taking the lead of the constructors out of the opening race for the moment. So it'll be interesting to see if VEL can do that here tonight. Now, there are only a few more laps remaining. Only a few more left. 4 laps left before the race ends. Make sure to put in your predictions down below of who you think is going to win. But you can see Callum Leons, though, is still fighting for P4. Who do you think is going to finish on the podium? And also, another thing for you. Who do you think is your driver of the day? Who is your driver of the day? Please tell me in the live chat down below. It'll be incredibly interesting. And because I really want to know. I really do want to know. It'll be incredibly interesting. But as you can see, Callum Leons making his way round. Let's see whether this man can do it or not. Can he try to hold on and try to get a podium? Probably not. But can he try to extend the gap? Because Kef is now 1.3 seconds back, which means he could, at worst, finish P8 now. So at least he's gaining this gap out that he could be gaining. But Callum Leons gets another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And that is his day done. Lupin also gets a 3-second time penalty, which does mean he will, at the moment, sit P8 still at the end of the day. But still not that great. Maybe even P10 now. So everything is kind of falling apart for the team of GRS here tonight. It hasn't been a good night for them. 1, their driver was late. And 2, they're not on for a lot of points in Tier 2. Yellow flag further back. That is for SET Danny, who's had a spin. He's now going to drop down to P11 outside of the points. He's now down to P11 and all of this. Now, SET completely might be looking at not many points at the end of the night for this man, SET Danny, who has raced before in the championship, but he's going to fight his way back up into P10. And for 1 point once again, I think we saw Ziesel getting cut off very heavily there. He got cut off incredibly heavily. He's struggling for rear grip. He's got a Williams on the inside. That was Betsy. He's struggling to get past Callum Leons, and he's struggling to get past Wild at the moment. But he still could finish P5 in this race and still take some big points for VEL in the first race of the season. Now, as we watch them go onto the final 3 laps of this race, Beast leads with over 3-second lead. Beast dominance coming from TTRE tonight. Really big dominance. One side of the garage is last, the other is first, but either way, it's going to be 25 points coming to TTRE's way here tonight. Massive points coming their way, exactly what they want to do. Start off their Tier 2 campaign with a victory. They took a podium last night in Miami for Tier 1, so this is just getting even better for them in their performances this season. So, as we watch on, we watch Beast lead this race more and more heavily. But the man that I'm still surprised by, who still hasn't made a move in this entire race, is Samtex. We've waited behind this man for about 10 laps. Samtex still hasn't made a move since about lap 20. He still hasn't gotten past Ryan McLean. He's been waiting here for about 10 laps now. He still hasn't been able to make the move yet. So we're just waiting and waiting for him to make the move finally. He gets the DRS after a while, but you see, he's just not gaining down the pit straight. He's really struggling to really gain anything down the pit straight, which is, of course, the biggest problem. It's the biggest problem. That's the worst thing. That's the worst thing. Cecil now moves up to P5. He's trying to push his way past Callum Lyons, who's putting on a fierce defense, even though he knows he's going to lose out the position because of his penalty. So I must say, it's a surprising race coming from Callum Lyons, who does not want to give up position at all and just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. And so it's an odd strategy, I must say, even though when usually drivers would give up slightly to fight over position because they know they won't be able to make up the position because they're going to be getting that penalty added on at the end of their race. And so it's an odd one to look at for me. It's a very odd one to look at the Ferrari and go, he's wanting to still battle this out and still push all the way. We've got a battle over P10, by the way. Bielkowski makes his way past SET Danny for P10, and that's a point coming the way of AERO, at least tonight, but maybe not because of the penalties. Cecil, by the way, finally gets past Callum Lyons after some battling with Betsy as well. So ultimately, Callum Lyons finally lets him go, and Cecil now chases P4 in this race. But talking about the lead, we've got to talk about Beast. But we do have a little bit of a battle over P2. I do want to look at this before we look at the leader, because look at this battle going on. Down through into turn 2 they go. It is all incredibly close. We've got a battle in the midfield as well. Betsy makes his way past Callum Lyons as well. Callum Lyons is now easy pickings for these drivers. He's not having a problem at all with getting past them. So that's an interesting thing to see there, just being able to get past them with pure and utter ease so far. But Betsy now up to P6, and LR, their day wasn't looking good. Oh, he's had a big swing, almost taking out Callum Lyons as well, but a massive loss on the rear. Those hard tyres really going away from the Williams now. He'll just be hoping these tyres can just hold on for dear life. All that he can. He's just going to be hoping for that. But even through all of that, we have to bring our eyes to the front of the grid and to the man who leads this race, Beast. He's led so many laps. I don't even know how many laps Bielkowski spins while the man of Beast rounds the final corner. But to open this season, Beast wins in Hungary for FRLT Tier 2 Round 1 in Season 3. And there's a great victory there. Cecil and Wild are battling up to line. Samtex does finish second. Let's see where the Wildstorm will make it. He will get P4 along with Cecil. And there goes all the drivers. Who's going to finish where at the moment? I do not know. How low can Callum Lyons finish? He'll finish P9 at the end of the day. So that is this race over. The man who wins, Beast, with a dominant win, 7.165 seconds ahead of P2, which is so far the biggest win of the season. Now we're going to be seeing the podium celebrations from TTRE, a celebratory win for them as they bring up their first victory of their of not only their campaign in FRLT, but of their Tier 2 campaign specifically. But a great win for their academy team. Put it under their belt this season to put away a victory this season once again. Always something we love to see in FRLT, of course. As you can see, spraying a lot of champagne here in Hungary. Celebrations for Red Bull, and very much how Red Bull have been in recent years. And now it is time to head on to the list of drivers. As you can see, the man who wins, Beast, wins from the front row of the grid, followed by Samtex. Ryan McLean finishes off the podium with Wildstorm, then Ziesel, then Betsy, then Kef, then Lupin, Callum Lyons, and SCT Daniel, Danny, who finishes out the top 10 with Snapestar, and then Fox, and then Bielkowski, finishing off all of the drivers who finished. The drivers who didn't finish with Pablo, Hookid, Snipes, Samato, Yanni, William, and Xeon Gamer. Ultimately, that is the end of that race. It is the end of round 1, and it is sadly the end of the stream. But before you guys go, before you guys leave, and before I leave, I'm going to be doing one thing before we go, and that is showing you guys not only the calendar for this season. So here it is. You can tick off Hungary for this season. Next week, we'll be going to Asia to go to the track of Suzuka for round 2 in Japan. It's going to be incredibly interesting to see. After that, we go into Australia, then Imola and Las Vegas. Before then, we go to Spain, Bahrain, China, Austria, and then Great Britain to end off the season. Ultimately, before I go, I'm going to give my driver of the day. For me, my driver of the day was Beast. Clear driver of the day for myself. And so, ultimately, thank you guys so much for watching. Please think about subscribing and leave a like. Also, make sure to click on that notification bell to know about all the content we'll be releasing from shorts, videos, and when we are racing and streaming. Also, make sure to go and follow us on Twitter. The link is down below. Also, big thanks to our sponsors, Rogue Energy, for sponsoring us for Season 3 here in FRLT. And finally, lastly, a big thanks to the teams, drivers, everybody who helps me in this league, just everybody in general, because without them, we generally wouldn't have any racing at all. So, it is time for my final goodbyes, and I will ultimately see you very soon. Goodbye, and see you on Sunday for Falls.